Hello my fellow furniture friends, welcome to another video. My name is Irene, I am behind Forever Spring Furniture and today we are going to make over this very plain cupboard. Now I'm out of the cupboard, a few information about this piece. It is full wood, it's pine. I got it from a grandma who had to move into a new home and there was not enough space to bring all her furniture. It was part of a full wall covering living room cupboard combination. And one after the other I want to try and tackle these parts, and we start off with that one. It is super plain, as you can see. There are no ornaments, there is nothing on it, which is kind of good because it is like a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want. Here is the piece in its full beauty. As a first step, I wanted to fill in these handles or pulls. I found a piece of scraped wood down in my basement and first roughly cut it to size. The biggest part of the pull hole is already filled this way. The wooden blocks were still a bit too high, and of course the edge is quite rough, so I got one of the toys out and sanded them down. I tried to sand the block down to a size that it will fit into the pull hole, but is round about 2 to 3 millimeters below the surface of the door. That will allow me to cover it still with a bit of wood filler, which then can be sanded flush with the surface of the door, so we won't see the pull hole anymore. Before actually filling the pull hole with the wooden block, I used some wood filler to fill in the little hidden pits of the pull hole. That took quite some time and I had to use unexpectedly much of my wood filler. A bit of painter's tape helped me to keep the area where I want to glue in the wooden block clean so that I will have good adhesion. When the wood filler had dried, it was time to glue in the wooden block, so just applied a bit of wood glue on both sides, the door and on the wooden block itself, and then clamped it to let it dry. And then finally, when the glue had dried, I still had to fill in the gaps, so I smudged a bit more wood filler in, and of course I covered the whole wooden block with wood filler. As I said, it was a bit below the level of the door surface, and I slightly overfilled it so that we can sand it smooth afterwards. I brought the piece outside to give it a good scuff sand. I used a 120 grit and I sanded, of course, the wood filler that covered now the former pulls smooth with the surface. Now what I call dirty prep work is done and it is time to prime the piece. I'm using a stain blocker because it is pine and I scuff sanded it, and maybe I broke through the original finish, and especially in all the areas where you have the knots, the pine knots, you will have bleed through using lighter colors. So using a stain blocker is a good idea. It's really easy to roll on, and since the surface has no ornaments and nothing, a roller is a good choice, which can save you a bit of time. Now it's time for the fun part, the painting and the embellishments and what comes with it. My initial design idea for that piece was to make a soft blend using mute colors. I choose two brown shades. One is cocoa, it's a bit darker, and then a lighter beige, and I wanted to blend with the darker color on the bottom to the lighter color on the top. Here you see me starting with the first coat of paint. So I started with cocoa and made my way up. In the first attempt, I pulled the darker brown color up to round about middle of the cupboard, but decided that's too dark and I need to pull the lighter color further down. When a second coat of paint was applied and I reached full coverage, it was time to blend. So I laid on a fresh coat of paint where both colors meet to have a nice moist surface to start the blending. And then I worked the colors together, starting to pull up the cocoa, the dark brown, into the beige. Then I switched the brushes, I pulled down the beige into the brown, and then I just used a neutral dry brush to feather it all together. Let me speed up the video here a bit. And I'm not going to show you the whole process of blending because I'm not what you would call an expert in blending. It always takes me ages, so you don't want to see the whole process. When the painting job was done, I got out the transfer. This is Trellis Flowers by Redesign with Prima. It's a gorgeous detailed pattern. I started to cut them in size and apply them to my cupboard. Here we are again, 10 days later. You saw me do all the work, starting with cleaning, sanding, priming, then painting and blending, and I even started to apply the transfer. Then I took a step back and looked at it, and I don't like it. I think my initial design idea doesn't go with this cubic and rectilinear piece. The colors I choose and the blend is too soft, the transfer is too detailed and too playful, and I think what this piece needs is more like geometric forms and straight lines, nothing playful. And yeah, I will now drag it outside, I will sand it all down again, I will start from point 0 and go with a plan B. Wonderful, so here we are again. The piece is again sanded and primed, and now it's time to paint again. So this time I choose a light blue, which I rolled on. This is an acrylic paint I got from the paint section of the next hardware store. It rolls on easily, gives a nice smooth surface, and 2 coats were enough to receive full coverage. Here we are after the first coat, and now it's time for the second coat. As I said, I think this piece needs geometric forms, straight lines, and when I thought about straight lines, the idea came, why not give it stripes? Here you see me creating the pattern. I will use painter's tape to tape off the stripes. The first stripe of tape is my guideline, so I really took my time. Two pieces of painter's tape serve as base holders, so the next stripe of tape can be glued on nicely parallel to the first one. That's how I went on until the pattern I had in mind was taped onto both doors. How do we now fill in the stripes? I'm a huge fan of gold leaving. I think nothing just gives you the same shine as gold leaving does. So yes, we do go for gold leaving here. Not gold leaving, but silver leaving actually. Here you see me brush on the gold leaving adhesive. The product I use takes about 20 minutes to become really tacky, and then it's time to apply the silver leaves. I gave the glue another bit of time to set and then started to brush off the excess silver leaf. That's how it looks after the excess gold leaf is brushed off. And now it's time to pull off the space holder tape. This is such a satisfying process, so I'm not going to speed up that bit. I just let you enjoy watching me pulling off that tape. Slowly it's time for the final steps. So first of all, I want to protect the gold leaf I have on using a gold leaving varnish that comes with the product. After the gold leaving varnish had dried, I gave the whole piece another 2 coats of PU enhanced clear lacquer just to get a uniform smooth surface again. And then it was time to attach the new legs and to attach the new knobs. Finally, this piece is done. Even though it had to take a few turns to arrive at the end, but I'm really happy how it turned out. It's sleek, it's modern. I think the color and the pattern now really suit the overall shape and character of the piece. And yeah, this piece has some brothers. I will show you again the original picture of the living room cupboard combination, and I try now to tackle one by one. And if you would like to see what's going to happen to them, stay tuned and yeah, subscribe, then you will not miss one of the videos that's going to come. Until then, see you, bye bye, and bis bald.